don't stop.
Okay, so I am here with Parker Connell's mom. This is Marcia, and we're going to talk a little bit just about Parker's story. So tell me about Parker before coming here. What were some of the reasons? What was it like, and what were some of the reasons that led you to seek out karate, and maybe what did you do before?
She's been in dance since she was 3, and she never had a problem with it. She's been in daycare since basically she was born. She grew up with the same set of kids, and the same set of kids went through dance class, but she was always afraid of some people she didn't know. She would never speak to anybody, waitresses, children, grown-ups, it didn't matter. She would hide, she would be quiet. If someone tried to talk to her, grown-up or kid, she'd hide in her arms, she'd hide behind my legs. And when it was just me and my husband, you couldn't get her to shut up. She would talk your ear off for hours, but the second we left the house, she would say nothing to anybody. She was very shy, very reserved.
And I remember that you had said that also even extended to family members.
Mm-hmm. It was always a good 20 minutes with family members that she knew before she would start actually saying things. And the family members that are further away, great aunts and uncles that live in Atlanta, they wouldn't hear her talk. She would stay very quiet and sit in my lap and, "Mommy, can we go?" Okay. She was not comfortable, and she was afraid to talk to people she did not know.
So in the other activities, you said she was in dance. Did you see any of the shyness in dance?
She was in dance with kids that she had known. She went through daycare with the same set of girls from 6 weeks old, and new kids would come in and new kids would come out, but her structure never changed, so she was always surrounded by kids that she knew. So, and 5 of those kids went to her dance class. She was never put into a situation where she didn't know even most of the people in the room around her as far as the structure go, until she came to karate.
And tell me a little bit about what led to that decision. Did she come to you, and was it something she said she was interested in, or did you have the idea?
I had the idea, and it's a very simple sentence of, I did not want my daughter to grow up afraid of the world. I wanted her to know that no matter what was going on in the world, she could handle it. She, and the statistics in college alone, but I wanted her to know that she had the power to deal with it. And so I had tried very hard to steer her towards finding this to be something she would enjoy. Okay. And, there's actually a couple of music videos that feature, a little girl in a karate
Uniform.
studio, in a tournament that was boys only. The girl fought, and the girl won.
Okay.
And that was kind of this kicker of, okay, I see her doing it. That looks like fun. Maybe I'll try that.
Okay, and so knowing what I know about how Parker started, would you say she was on board with the idea at first?
She was on board at first.
Until she came in the door.
She was, yes.
She liked the idea, and I say this because this is totally, I see it all the time, and it's why I tell parents, it takes sometimes, a couple times, especially if you're dealing with a child who has some shyness or even, anxiety. So I remember it was a little hit or miss. Sometimes she was fine, but then other times when it seemed like we had already kind of made the connection, she would still cry. She would cry, and she would come out, but it would take a little bit of time. So it just never seemed to be. I never knew if we were on solid footing with her. And then, so what did you start to see after that? What changes did you start to see?
All of a sudden, and I didn't notice it at first, and it's the little things that you never notice, but we have this vacation that we go to every year with people from my husband's work, and we see these people once a year, And we went before Parker had started karate, and no one there had ever heard her speak. And this year, we went, and one of the women who live in California, day one, initially, right off the bat, Parker just starts talking to her about all of the things she wants to do on the boat. And she's excited, and I look at this woman from California, I'm like, did you hear her speak this much at all last year? She's like, not in the 7 days total. And it was all of a sudden she was willing to talk to people that she didn't know. And then we've been camping a few times this year, and she's willing to talk to kids. She walked up to a kid and said, my name's Parker. And they were friends for a whole weekend. And she did that twice in a row.
With two different kids.
Two different kids.
Two different situations.
2 different campgrounds. I made a friend today. And she was proud of herself, and she talked, and there was no easing in period. It was, I can make a friend, I can talk to these people, and it's fine. Yeah. And I didn't notice the change at first, but all of a sudden it was just like, there was just this moment where it was like, you wouldn't have done that 7 months ago.
7 months. Yeah, only 7 months. It seems like she's been here longer. You know, it's like, you forget sometimes. And I say, one of the things that I want to talk about is, we don't, sometimes, like you said, like, oh, I didn't notice it at first. And, you know, you may think, we always talk about karate is for confidence, it's for focus, it's for so many things, but it's those little things, just like I know it's an anxiety from parents of, will my kids make friends? You know, can they make friends? You want that for them so much, and it's so hard to see when it's hard for them, you know, because we all know how great our kids are. So, but I do want to add that Parker has been a part of, I have a leadership program for 5 and 6-year-olds. And what that is we do an extra class a month, and we really focus on them being able to help me in class. So they come back to the little 3 and 4-year-old class, and they help me teach. Well, one of the things we focus on in the leadership class is saying our names, right? Introducing ourselves, which seems like such a little thing, but I guess it's not. To a child, it's not. It's a big thing. So just a simple act of that, practicing something that seems so like mundane, can make a big difference. So I know that the classes have helped, but I really feel like that leadership was probably her tipping point.
I think it was.
You know, so is there anything else that we haven't covered that you can think of?
We were at my grandmother's house, and I can't remember what the function was. I think it was Easter. And my daughter, who had barely talks to one of my aunts, I think she finds my one aunt to be a little frightening. But Parker spent 20 minutes doing a show for her. Oh. Started as a karate show, went on to a dance show, went on to an I'm just going to be goofy show. For 20 minutes, it was just, I'm going to perform for this entire room of people, including a woman she barely knows, and my aunt, who I think is a little scary to her. And, you know, she's proud of who she is, of what she knows, and how she can do it. And she's proud enough to show that to people that she's never met.
That's great. And like she said, 7 months. That's what we've been able to accomplish in 7 months. So I can't wait to see, just as time goes on, I get surprised still. Writing this book, I've had parents coming out of the woodwork with stories that I really had no idea. So, and this is one of them, because I thought the fact that it's helping her make friends and feel confident enough in who she is to just say, I'm Parker. You know, what's your name? I mean, I think it's amazing. So thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And this is not an ezy thing to do for adults either. So I'm so happy that she shared the story, and I hope that it's helped you. And thanks for watching.
Don't stop.